to do with it. Oh.
Morning. How you doing today?
Not too bad. You guys done with that water?
Yeah. Yep.
That's good. That makes you feel better.
Yep. Take a seat.
It's like I'm going through infrastructure. On a smaller scale, but same difference.
Yeah. What's going on?
Nothing really. I'm just trying to figure out, like I get a vibe. I don't know if it's the military or just me living everywhere and been everywhere and done everywhere. I don't know. It's like I'm getting a vibe that someone wants that spot. And I think I know who wants it. And the attitude kind of matches. You know, like if someone told you, I'm trying to let me word it right. Someone says to anybody, just go back in your house. Go back inside. What do you think of that?
You're in your lot, right?
Right. But if someone says that to me, I'm thinking, I'm in his way. I'm holding him up. I mean, it's a long way since middle school. Schoolyard kids shit.
Yeah.
I'm the boss. You get out of my way. I'm got a plan for you. There's something up with that. You know, there's like something there. No one just does that. No one's gonna be like that. Like somehow I've done something to put a stopper.
On our end here in the office, we have nothing.
Right, well there's a lot more than the office going around, you know. And so maybe it's trying to egg a fight in. So if I hit somebody in the mouth, that's probably not gonna look good on my lease. But I ain't gonna go that route.
Yeah.
I'm a counterterrorism specialist. I'm gonna go right to the end of it. I'm gonna force someone to look like an idiot. And that's if they can catch me. Then they gotta deal with, and then at the last resort, they might get pepper sprayed. But it's only gonna be after I've gotten them figuring that their cousin might be the judge, or you know what I mean. Someone's gonna come after me. They're gonna really have to beg me to defend myself if I'm even threatened at all by it. But generally, people that don't know somebody, they think that they got like whatever. They might be the toughest guy, or that attitude got them somewhere, in all their little circle of friends.
So you're having issues with other tenants here in the park?
I'm not having issues, but it's almost like trying to feel me out. Like they want me to screw up somewhere.
Okay.
It's like they're egging it on.
That's gonna fall for it, yeah.
Oh, I ain't gonna fall for it. But I don't. But on the other turn, I can also play that and make it look like they're getting to me. Because if they think they can make some ground on me, then it's gonna puff them up to think that they're some kind of intimidating role or something. Like they're gonna. I don't know. I'll play them out. If they're gonna try to play me, I'm gonna play them out and see where they want to go with it.
Yeah, well, best thing I can tell you guys is, you guys are neighbors, try to, figure it out. I don't know if it's your neighbor, I don't know who it is.
I got it figured out.
So just, that's something where all I can do is if it comes down to, one of you guys feels threatened, call the cops.
I'm not threatened.
So, it's the best I can say for situations like
Right.
that.
I'm not into calling the cops and all that crap. I mean, if it's like I catch someone burglaring, like the homeless people that were trying to play a game, once they shoot away, they could do 10 years in jail, ain't gonna do any different. They're already gone. The cops show up after the fact. The cops are gonna show up and then it's like, oh, now I gotta do a report. And then now their little failed burglary attempt, or whatever it might have been. Because I've already had that happen. I don't know if they were the ones that were living there before I got there, or if what was going on. But they definitely showed up. And they were pissed because they were told no one was there. The guy is like, once they knew I made some noise and stuff, they're like, who the hell's standing there? I was told that nobody's there, figuring they were going to come in thinking they were tipped off or something. Someone told them, hey, that place is empty, or there's a guy working on it, there's no truck in the yard. I had people come in and turn my water off too, thinking there's no one there, just left the water running because they don't see a vehicle. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, well, the water off maybe could have been done.
I knew who that was. I chased the lady out of the yard.
Oh, okay.
And if you see me coming and you're just walking out of my yard and I'm coming up behind you,
Yeah, I mean,
and you look over, oh, I guess he was home.
Yeah.
That's easy, done.
Yeah.
I solve things real easy, real quick and easy. Usually it takes just a little bit of embarrassment, a little bit of, I'll throw a little intimidation on it. If someone's doing something like that with the homeless people or some lady just looking out thinking the water's running wild and no one's around or whatever, they remember that and they won't come back. They're like, oh, okay. Or they come in and they see a camera or whatever it is. These people are looking for something quick. They're looking for something easy. They'll roll on to the next quickest, easiest thing. Once they realize, oh, okay, this isn't what they thought it was.
Yeah.
About the yard and some of this other stuff, I like to put a fence across, like this guy's got it out here, like the first unit you come into.
Oh, yeah, all the way across that way? You're saying?
Right. He's got like a little oasis he's been probably doing for 30 years or so over there.
Yeah, you can definitely do that, we'll just go over it. There's a gas line that does run across. Well, you could probably, we'll have to do the spot before you dig. All that whole
Right, I have to do all that. Well, what I want to try to do is figure it all out beforehand. I'm assuming they're going to run a gas line in a straight line
Yep,
and not go all over the place.
yeah.
Or it might bend a little bit,
Yeah, they definitely bend, a lot of times it bends.
but more or less, I got an 8-foot window between fence posts. I can move those around, so it's like, there's no way I'm going to touch that gas line.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, okay, even if it looks odd or whatever. Cause I got 2 meter boxes on my property. Like, with meter man's gotta read 2. He's gotta read the guy next door, and he's gotta read mine.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so if I left that carport open, the meter man comes and goes that way anyway. And if I put a fence across the back of it, I'm not gonna put a lock on it, I'm just gonna have it just like a regular, just like that guy, other guy's got.
Yeah, that's fine, as long as he can get in, that's all we.
He'll be able to get in around the other side. That way I can do something with that yard back there.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm kind of getting an idea, like, I'll look around and be like, well, if this guy's doing it, then they shouldn't have a problem with that. I'm gonna take a little bit of each lot that I see or whatever in the park and be like, okay, well, you know, like I see what you guys have, I'll be like, well, they like that shade of stain, well, then I'll get that shade of stain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that way if someone says, well, you can't do that, this color, I'm like, well, look, guy, you got
Yep.
1,000 gallons of it, you know? You know what I mean? Just that's the way I am, just because I can care either way.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah, it's fine with me, no problems there.
In the 10 by 10, that lilac is overgrown.
Oh, yeah, that,
I like it overgrown. I don't know if there's an issue with that. I've been tying it up. I've been doing.
yeah, as long as, you know, we got the meters are clear, as long as it's clear for the meter, electrical, all that stuff all around there, as long as that's clear, I'm fine with it, as long as it's not growing higher, you know, which I doubt it, I think they just start spreading out, right?
It spreads out. It gets in the tree. It's gonna go along that whole back side. Whatever chicken wire or animal cage or whatever he's got there, and it's gonna go all the way across it.
Yeah, as long as it's not bothering your neighbor behind, you know, we're fine.
It shouldn't bother him.
Okay,
I mean, there was plants there.
okay.
I'm just kind of reestablishing what it is. It's got seed pods, and it has like, I don't know, thousands of these little seeds that it did last year, and I want to plant some of those. And so that might look like weeds growing up.
Oh.
And so I want to put a couple around the carport. It might be 10 years before that thing gets enough to even notice it.
So as long as you make like a little, you know, just to make sure that, you know, like a little well around it or whatever they're called, just like.
Right, well, it's along the brick.
Okay.
It's kind of like in that area anyway. It's like half under the carport, half whatever.
Yeah, as long as we see that, you know, you're planting it, that, you know, it has that little form around it to make sure that you're watering it or whatever, we'll know it's a plant. We're not calling it a weed or something. You know?
Right, well, that's what I was kind of getting at, because at some point, when I do put a shed in there,
Uh-huh.
I want to go in and whack that lilac and just kind of like in the other one. And so I got, I don't know, maybe, I probably have enough to where I could transplant it, where it's overgrown,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I could just reshape that. I might just even be able to take a square right out of it. And there's one of them is that thorny bush. I don't know what it's. It's that stuff that people plant so the
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
that like that whatever that other one there. That's spreading out. There's a couple where I could move that around. I could chop a lot of that up and then just spread it around the yard. Figuring it already likes it there anyway. As long as it looks like I've done it on purpose, and it's not just letting
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
And then it makes me wonder why the neighbor has got his weeds growing on his side, and how nobody could notice that.
I'm pretty sure we give it and everybody who's,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, we give people 7 days, so I mean, you wouldn't know it. 'Cause you're gonna work here. So.
I think I'm taking those 7 days more serious than people think.
Yeah.
Like I read that and I'm looking like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, like okay, I'm looking at eviction, so I'll just, you know.
Yeah, people who've been here for years, it's because, you know, I know the wording on there is not exactly, you know, it's very harsh. That's how the owner is very strict.
Well, you gotta be.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, a lot of these people know now that it's technically basically like warning, 2 warnings, second warning, after the third, we just charge you to do it. That's all that happens. We don't even,
Right.
we'll charge you, as long as you're not actually being paid, like, you know, you're not, like we've had tenants here that bring in traffic, stuff like that, possibly selling drugs, who knows?
Right.
That's why we evict you for stuff like that, but, I mean, as long as you're not like a bad tenant like that, then. We'll
Right,
just-
right, there's different
The worst
levels
you can
to
see
it.
is, $40 charge, and that's because you did the weeds, or you didn't do
Right.
something that we asked you to do.
I wish it said that on that 7-day though.
I understand that, but the owner wants it specifically to be written like that.
I know why he wants it
Yeah.
specifically written like, he wants it like that.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's also, it's like, with the drugs and the parties and all this stuff and whatever.
Yeah, you could definitely let me know if there's, there's problems, like, people are.
All I'm gonna say is it was 3 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and they're so drunk they need to be carried in.
Wow.
Probably the one that wasn't doing the meth probably nodded out, trying to keep up drinking with the meth heads.
Wow.
But they're hitting it like boom, boom, boom. They're just hitting it. Lighting a cigarette, you don't light a cigarette 3 times and pass it to someone else that's lighting it. You can't really tell what it is, but they're definitely smoking something through a glass pipe or something on the porch.
Marijuana too.
No, that ain't marijuana.
No?
I know what marijuana smells like. That ain't marijuana.
Okay, all right.
and marijuana don't light like that,
Okay.
and it's legal anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
Well, this is, what I can do with that is,
I'm not gonna say anything now about it. I'm just gonna let you know that that's what's going on.
okay, yeah, thanks for letting us know.
You know, it doesn't take too much to figure out what's going on. I mean, if I had a Harley Davidson fire up at 2 o'clock in the morning and tear out of here, I can't be the only one that hears that. I'm up anyway. I'm painting or something. I'm doing something. I always try to do something. But then on the other hand, I don't want to get myself into a jackpot where I got like 3 of the biggest meth dealers in the state pissed at me, and 12,000 people wanting to kill me because I'm in their little bullshit. You follow where that goes.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're bitching about, oh, what's this guy gonna do or whatever with his school bully stuff, versus someone that's gonna just go by, like drive by and just shoot bullets at everything.
Yeah, I know, especially with mobile homes.
Right, I don't wanna
Right
start,
there.
I don't wanna start something like that.
Yeah.
So you follow where I'm at.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, typical stuff, But that's what I like about this side of town, because you don't see a lot of that
Yeah.
compared to like the southeast side of town,
I
where
used to live there.
where it kind of moves over anyway.
Yeah, it's starting to expand everywhere now, because they're just,
Well, drugs are addictive, they're gonna go for it. There's no way of stopping that. But either way, I don't wanna take up too much more of your time. I just wanna know about the fence. Let you know that I'm kinda like where I'm at with it. Just, I wanna live here for a while. And I wanna, basically, I don't wanna feel like I'm being singled out. I wanna be called on something. If there's something that I ain't doing right, I wanna be called out on it.
before we give you a 7-day, you're saying?
Right.
Okay. It's just, it's kind of hard, because the thing is, we came down to that compared to, we make lists. We have lists of everybody, and we can't just say single you out, because you're not the only one on here.
Right.
So it's hard for us to do that. It's something where we could probably, I could probably talk to Don, we can work on that.
We already talked about some of that anyway.
So if you've talked with Don and he's agreed to, then yeah, that's fine, but,
If I'm missing something, it's not because I'm just lazy. It's because I got like a bathroom remodel and I'm redoing the water pipes and I missed that front back section
Gotcha.
for a second.
yeah.
It's gonna be a long time before I forget that I gotta mow that. Now that I've been like, whatever. Because I'm looking at myself like, what the hell am I doing if I can't figure this out? Another thing is like, I want to know what I can do with the place. And then I'm thinking, well, geez, if I'm only going to be hanging by a thread looking for any little thing, there's no point in putting anything into I'm just planning on moving at any moment. So it's hard for me to go from, I want to find a place I can stay for pretty much the rest of my retirement, my life,
Yeah.
versus I got to find another place in a couple of months or whatever,
Well, like I said.
and then have to go through the whole thing again.
Yeah. Well, on our end, we're good. To me, the only problem, it isn't even a problem, but the only thing that, I think that's the only people we've been giving you, I don't even know, I haven't gone through your
I
file.
got one for a loud radio when I was first got here for, this was when Bernadette was here. And working with my radio or whatever, play music. So music was, I was, turned it
10
up
o'clock or something? Okay.
during the day, during the daytime. So I'm figuring the skill saw's louder or whatever than,
Yeah.
but I got one for that. Because people like to sleep during the day and all this, and I'm like, okay, that seems a little different.
Yeah, I would have still never given you 7 days for that.
Well, I got a 7-day for that, and then I got 2 7 days for not doing the yard cleanup, the fall cleanup.
Oh, okay.
I hauled, I don't know, I think it was 2,200 pounds of countertop out of there that was stacked up, and a whole bunch of junk. It was like, I hauled at least $300 or $400 worth of stuff out of there. And I waited, and the guy who was going to haul all that out of there, I was going to do all the whole yard cleanup too. I didn't realize at the time that if I just bagged it up at a certain time, you guys would come along and take it.
Oh, you're right.
I was like, okay, and I realized all the last leaves had fallen. And so I didn't even see the first notice. I didn't realize that mailbox was for anything.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I go and I look, and I went to look at it to see what it actually was. Like, if the light, why isn't the light working? Is it auto light? What is it? Because I didn't have all switches for it. I'm like, what is this? And I looked and I'm like, oh, this is notices for. So I'm like, okay, I'm already getting evicted on this, and it's like.
No, like I said.
So after that, I hadn't had. I'm just was like, I'm not having another one. And then I got this last one for whatever.
This is the thing. So if and you've been doing this. So since I've been here, you've told me like, hey, I'm gonna do this. Is that okay if I leave? I'll leave it in my porch, or when you do your remodels and stuff like that. The main thing is you just gotta let us know ahead of time if it's gonna be something where we're gonna be able to see it. It's gonna be there for over a week.
Right.
Then if you let us know, then we'll be like, okay, that's fine. That's the main thing is we have the communication as.
Right,
you've
like
done
anybody
it.
else.
Yeah, you've done it.
I mean,
So, it's just, guys, they don't really kind of, they'll just write you up because unless they see you, then of course, if you see them,
Right.
whatever, you guys can talk about it. Hey, I'm doing this, but I'll get it out of the way, whatever.
I'm getting ready to pull that porch apart. What I want to do is I want to take it apart and then put it back together again.
So what I would recommend for you to do is put the fence first. If you're gonna have all that material out, most of it, some of it, put the fence out in the back so that we can put some of that material back there, so that way it's not a noise to the owner or something, or something like that. So that way the
Right.
owner's not like, oh, if you have it back there, we'll be like, yeah, that's why you put it behind the wall for now, and then you're gonna be working on it. So,
Well, what about behind that lilac and all that?
yeah, moving them too.
I'm gonna try to hide it as best I can. I can put it a couple. I don't really want to do the fence right now because I don't have the fence.
Oh, yeah.
I'm waiting on all the stuff is out of stock. I got this caulking that I want. It's like everything that involves latex, or rubber, or white pigment is like out of stock, or a weight on it. The stuff I want to get. And so I'm waiting on a case of stuff so I can get do the trim.
Oh, okay.
And so I figured it was a good time to do that porch.
Definitely.
I figure if I get that porch taken apart, like I say, I'm gonna do my best to hide it.
Yeah.
Ideally, I could put a fence there, but I don't think I just don't have the time for it. But I don't think I talked to Dawn about it. I don't think anyone's gonna be surprised. I've already went and, I've been messed with it enough and talked about it, whatever, where I'm just gonna do it. I probably mentioned it, I've probably been in here longer talking to you about it than it would take to do it. So, I figure if I do it over the weekend, or probably this coming weekend, No, it's not gonna look any different than it does. It's just gonna come apart, it's gonna get like a double skin layer of plywood, so it's not bouncy.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out what rod I got in it, whatever. But I mean, that's what I inherited. So I'm gonna do the best I can with it. In the carport, I put metal brackets in that, metal L brackets in that.
Oh,
Now, if you can imagine when I first got in there, if the wind was blowing, you could hear the trailers all loose. That's every screw's been replaced in that and refastened and tightened. And all the metal roofing was all banging and slapping and whatever, and that doesn't make a noise anymore. That's all been bolted down and refastened, and hurricane straps, whatever. Nothing moves and nothing. So if it lasted this long, it'll last a lot longer.
yeah, so, like I said, yeah, if you wanna go for it, go ahead and do it, no problems over here, we're all good to go,
All right.
so, you know, just,
Well, I gotta go by the numbers, you know, I figure, well, I mean, I've done this as a contractor.
yeah.
I mean,
Worry about that?
I've had people call the police because we had a loud radio playing. The police show up, it's a little radio with one of those talk show whatever on it. And the police are looking at that, we're all in working clothes, whatever. Got all these things going on, construction stuff. And the loud radio was this little, like, 2 AA battery thing. And they were like, oh, and it was like